Hi, welcome to the CrafteeManatee. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this linen stitch scarf. This scarf is a one row repeat, so once you understand the basics of just one row, we're going to continue that all the way until the end of the scarf. So this is a very great mindless crochet project. I actually made this on my most recent car trip, so it is great for just a mindless, simple crochet project, and it works up super fast. I used a color changing yarn for my scarf, so you can see that it switches from pinks to kind of oranges into yellows and blues and greens, and that is exactly what I want for a mindless crochet project, so I don't have to worry about changing colors. But you could also easily customize this to be just a solid scarf or to make stripes that are more consistently spaced out. The linen stitch is very airy. You can see that as you stretch it out, it has a lot of these holes, which is because we have chain spaces throughout this project, and it creates a very breathable and very flexible material for our scarf. The finished length of our scarf is about 6 inches wide and about 65 inches long, but you can also customize this by adding on extra stitches or adding on extra rows. Before we get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more crochet patterns and tutorials, and share this video with a friend who you think would enjoy learning how to crochet this linen stitch scarf. Here are the materials that we're going to need for today's video. First, we're going to need about 120 grams of a DK weight yarn. This will also vary if you decide to make your scarf wider or add on extra rows. We'll be using a 5mm crochet hook or the letter H. And finally, we will just need scissors and a tapestry needle for cutting off yarn tails at the end. To get started, we are going to chain 40. So we will make a slip knot, attach it to our hook, and we're going to go ahead and make 40 chains. And I will meet you back here once we are done with that foundation row of 40 chains. And now we are going to single crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. So we are going to skip the first 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into that 4th chain right there. And now we are going to chain 1 and skip 1 stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. And we are going to continue that until the end of our row. So we're going to chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet all the way until the end of our foundation chain, and I will meet you back here once we are done with that. Now that we are at the end of that row, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now this row is going to be what we repeat all the way for the rest of our scarf. And it is simply going to be single crocheting in the chain 1 space of the previous row. So that's what we're going to be working into. We have our chain 1 space right here, single crochet 1, and then chain 1 to create another chain space for the next row. We're going to skip 1 stitch and single crochet in the chain space that comes next, and continue doing that. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next one, and we're going to continue that all the way across, and we're ending in a single crochet in the last chain space. So we are going to continue to have 37 stitches going all the way across, and I will meet you back here at the end of this row. So I've reached the end of that second row, and we are going to simply work a single crochet stitch in that last single crochet stitch of the previous row, and then chain 1 and turn our work. And that is what we are going to be repeating until the end of our scarf. So we will be single crocheting 1 in this first chain 1 space, and then chaining 1, skipping a stitch, and working into the chain space that is next, and continuing that until you have reached the length of your scarf. So go ahead and continue working the linen stitch until your desired length of your scarf. For mine, that ended up being about 65 inches long. I worked 340 rows. So go ahead and work the linen stitch for 340 rows total, or until your desired length, and I will meet you back here to put on the tassels. I went ahead and worked just a few rows for today's video since I won't be making a full another scarf today on camera, but we are going to get started working on the tassels, and I'll use this little sample here to show you how to make the tassels. Here you can see what the tassels look like on the finished scarf, and this is totally optional. You could choose to not have any tassels and to just leave it plain solid along the end, but I'm going to show you how to make these tassels in case you would like to. And for my scarf, I made 17 tassels along each end. So to make the tassels, we are going to just wrap our yarn around something that is close to the same length that we want our tassels to be. In my case, I always just wrap around my 4 fingers here and just continue doing that. You can also wrap around a phone or a book or really anything that is close to the length that you want your tassels to be. For my scarf, I made them pretty short, so just wrapped around my hand is perfect. And I'll go ahead and cut these off just along the bottom row here, and I'll meet you back. So for each tassel, I'm using 3 strands of yarn. You can also customize this to be thicker if you want to add more strands, or thinner, you can leave off strands and just do 1 or 2. But I'm going to take these 3 strands, set them aside up here for just a minute, and then insert my hook through one of these starting chains here. So I'm going to actually flip it around. This is my starting chain, and I'm going to insert right into the corner. And I'm going to ignore the starting yarn tail because the benefit of having a tassel right here on the end is that that is just going to blend right on in with the tassel, so we don't have to weave in the yarn tail at the end. So I'm going to line up these yarn strands so that they are even, and then hook the middle around my crochet hook, pull through, but not all the way, leaving all of this to one side. And then I'm actually going to incorporate that, and then we're going to yarn over with all of those strands and pull through. And then we'll pull that tight, and that is how we make our tassel. And you can see that starting yarn tail blends right in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other corner as well. I like to do the corners first and then just evenly space them throughout to get to 17 or however many tassels you want. And I'll just show you how to make this one more tassel on camera. So we're going to hook the center of those yarn strands around our hook and pull through. We want to make sure that they're even. You can see mine got a little uneven there, so I'm just going to pull those so that they're equal. Yarn over with all of those yarn tails and pull through and secure. And that is how you make your tassels, so you can just continue doing that all the way across. And then once you're finished, you can just cut them straight across to whatever length you want, and your scarf is complete. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own linen stitch scarf. If you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more crochet patterns and tutorials. Thanks for watching. Bye.